What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 196. Today, we are back for another weekly episode. If you missed it, I dropped another Tigers audio-only pod on Monday. I was ranting about the Tigers, not really ranting, but just talking about their future because it's up in the air right now, and I think that they're in a weird spot. But that was available only on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. It just wasn't on YouTube. So if you're strictly a YouTube watcher, apologies. But you can see us today. We're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
That episode, fire. Just, if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's like 20 minutes. And if you really want to know what Kyle thinks, uninterrupted by me, it's a great opportunity to see it. I mean, like, it is just his thoughts on there, and he's just getting them out there. And and I like actually hearing you did more complaining on that than you've ever complained in your whole life on this podcast.
Well, because
it was awesome.
I mean, okay, this is gonna sound really weird, but like I like talk to myself a lot, like when I'm alone. I don't think that's that weird. People that say that that's weird, I think you're weird if you don't. You know,
I'm like not only talking to myself, I have like, this sounds a weird word,
conversations with
fantasies.
Yourself.
Like it's like things are happening in my head,
I mean,
and I'm talking to
everyone
myself.
Goes through that. We're starting this off really weird.
so strange.
But yeah, like I'm always like thinking, and then I'll just like be thinking about stuff with sports and like what I think about stuff, and I'll be like, I need to like write that down so like I can talk about that, you know. And then I just started thinking about the Tigers, and I was like, I just need to make a podcast about this, like, because I have a lot of thoughts about what's going on with the Tigers.
All fun to listen to. All of them were fun.
Thank you. Only like 20 minutes, so it's not going to take up much of your day like this episode probably will. This will probably be a freaking an hour and a half. So, but yeah, we're back for another weekly episode. You're blending in with the couch today.
I'm camouflaged. I'm trying to stay low key this episode.
Yeah?
I got people looking for me. I mean, everywhere.
Really?
There might be somebody knocking on the door right now looking for me.
That's interesting. All right, let's start off the podcast talking about the Tigers to get this out of the way. The Tigers have rolled off 3 straight wins against the Minnesota Twins after being killed by them in game 1 of this 4-game series, and where I was just talking about, oh man,
how
like
bad it looked.
That was, I know, like totally was. But they've won 3 straight games now. They're back to 7 games out. I'm not like getting my hopes up or anything, but it's nice to see that they're still competing and they still have a chance. If they go on a huge win streak, like, they have a chance. Are they gonna? No, but like they have a shot. And now the leader of the American League Central, the Minnesota Twins, are at 500, which is just you love to see that.
You love to see it. I think even in since listening to that podcast, I recognize the name Michael Lorenzen, and all of a sudden I'm listening to things and I'm reading things. This Michael Lorenzen guy is a beast.
Michael Lorenzen threw a no-hitter last night.
He's a monster.
That was the next thing I was going to bring up, yeah. I was going to say the highlight of last night, you would think, as the Tigers' highlight would be that Spencer Torkelson had his 3rd multi-homer game of the season, hit his 16th and 17th homer. Nope, that wasn't it. It was that Michael Lorenzen, in his 2nd start with the Phillies, tosses a no-no, not only throws a no-no, he threw it on 124 pitches.
Holy shit.
He went into the 9th at 114, and they sent him back out.
They said, let's see what you can do, Bucko.
Yeah,
we
they were up, I think, like 6 or 7-0, so, like, you can risk it, I guess, but it's more of an injury concern.
Yeah, it's more of like to me, it'd be more of like a player. Like, hey, do you want to go back out there? We can shut you down right now if you want.
And it seems like he wanted to. He throws the no-no. Did you see what he was rocking, too? He was rocking the Vans throwing a no-no.
He was rocking Vans cleats.
Yes.
Oh man, that's
like he
disgusting.
Looks clean out there. Shout out, and I see a lot of Tigers fans that are just like they're pissed about this. They're like, of course, Michael Lorenzen throws a no-hitter when we trade him. It's like, good for him. Like
that's pretty awesome.
But
it is classic Tigers.
It definitely is classic Tigers. But
classic Detroit sports fan.
Yeah, but now people are mad that we traded him because he threw a no-hitter 2 weeks later. Like,
that makes no sense.
What, like, we were like, you shouldn't be mad that we traded him. It was the smart move to trade him. Obviously, it would have been nice if he would have thrown this no-hitter here, but like, it's pretty cool that he threw it.
And what changed? You knew he was good when you were trading him away. That's the only reason he was traded away is because he was good and on a 1-year deal, right?
Right.
1 year remaining.
Yeah. He's like an expiring contract after
and a good player. So to me, that's what you should expect as a fan of. Oh yeah, we traded this guy away and he's going to do good. Wow, what a shock!
Uh-huh.
It's like people wanted him for a reason.
Did you see Javier Baez today, the clip of him, the pitch he swung at? I don't know if you saw that on Twitter.
But I know he's like the king of whiffs.
Oh, yeah, he is the king of whiffs. And he had a very, like, one of his worst ones today. The catcher literally lined up, like, heavily outside of the box. Pitch was thrown even more outside, and it's just a bad whiff. Somebody synced up. Remember when 50 Cent threw the first pitch?
Yeah.
And it was like 40 feet
It was
that
way
way.
bad.
Somebody synced up that first pitch with Javier Baez like whiffing at it. And it was just like, it was so funny.
So, like, what's his reaction after a play like that? Like,
Javi?
does he get like, because he knows it's an issue now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he clearly does. Like,
Does he like scoff at himself, or does he just go back to like playing
I
normal
think he's
baseball?
just like pissed at himself, obviously. But like, it's not like okay, I got to stop doing that. Like, it's damn, I didn't hit that one.
Damn, I whiffed.
Maybe I'll hit the next one. Like, I think that's
I guess I'll swing again next time harder. I'll swing harder next time.
It's definitely been a rough time here for Javier Baez as a Tigers fan. Maybe I'll do another Tigers rant here soon if they go on a run, but they haven't. Before we get into something that I know you want to talk about, let's talk about a way better film first. The Johnny Manziel documentary. Did you watch it?
Oh, I haven't watched it yet.
Came out Tuesday.
I was gonna go home and watch it. Actually,
really good, dude. Like,
I heard it's emotional.
It is. I mean, it definitely is very emotional. It just talks about Johnny Manziel's life. Me and Nate were talking about this. Like, that dude lived the life for about 4 years, maybe 3 years. He lived the life that like every kid like dreamed to live at some point. Football, party. Like that,
he
that
took
was
the party part a little far.
Okay,
like,
maybe party football.
Yeah,
like that was his life, and that's just like, obviously it's very unrealistic, but he did it, and and obviously didn't. And not saying it turned out well for him. I think right now he is in a good place. It seems that way from the documentary. But what a legend Johnny Manziel is.
He has just such a crazy, crazy story, from the hype to the downfall to like now the people realizing what was really going on. And like I'm seeing all this stuff about him never scouting and never doing any film or anything, coming into an NFL franchise and not doing a lick of film or studying or anything. And it's like to actually do what he accomplished while not doing that is more impressive than anything.
And how did he get drafted? Like, how did that not get overlooked?
How did they?
Like, I understand how good he was, but it's just like, you'll see this in the doc, and this isn't like a spoiler or anything, because it's
real
all
life.
things that happen. But like at one of his workouts, I think it might have been the Browns workout. I can't fully remember. I could be wrong, but it's talked about in the documentary. The wide receivers, you like bring your own wide receivers to the workout, like that you can train with, and they all like went out the night before, and like the wide receivers didn't show up. Like they either were like disappeared or like just were too like hungover.
What?
Didn't show up. So Johnny Manziel's agent and like his boy like were the wide receivers at the workout, and I think it might have been the Browns workout where the team got drafted by.
That is awesome.
But
and
yeah.
they were still the Browns were in that spot where they see a guy doing that and they think, you know what, we still think this is our guy.
Yeah. Quarterback with off the field issues, let's take him. I mean, you can just
so
name,
relevant.
You can
it's
keep
just
going. I mean,
it's
currently,
just so real how relevant that has been for the last 10 years.
Excluding Jacoby Brissett, of course.
Yeah, shout out that guy.
I think. I'm not 100% sure.
Me either.
But yeah, it's really good Johnny football documentary. If you haven't watched it yet, for sure would recommend giving that one a watch.
You did a big a switch up on me. You were coming to a point in the road, and I thought we were going right into town, and you went left into the boondocks. So where did I think we were headed there?
You know exactly where we were going. Easton has been wanting to talk about this ever since he watched it. He's mentioned it to me a few times now. I have not watched this. I know a lot of people who are listening probably have. The Barbie movie, Easton, you watched it, and you said you wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. I thought the Barbie movie was not at all what I expected.
And that's what I feel like everyone has said.
I can honestly say I walked into it not expecting what I got. We went to a drive-in movie in Genesee County, just outside of Flint.
That is pretty cool.
And it was awesome. Like, drive-in movies are just so cool. It's such a nice movie theater. I think it's called US 23 Drive-In. If you live in the state of Michigan, go check it out. It's such a cool experience to sit in a truck bed with a radio and you just listen and watch a movie on a giant screen. And I do think that enhanced my viewing of Barbie. Like, you know how there's movie theater bias? There's definitely drive-in movie theater bias. Barbie was good. Like, I gotta tell you, man, I enjoyed it. Were there some parts where it's like, this isn't quite right for me? Like, it's definitely about women empowerment,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
like feminism and like hoorah. And I think they did it in a really good job, or a really good way, because I don't think they did it bashing men. And there's obviously like the dumb men characters that they like take advantage of.
Yeah.
But it's a really
the
good
point
movie.
of the movie, yeah.
And it's pretty eye opening. Like, one of my favorite lines in the intro of the movie is, Barbie lives in Barbie land and everything's perfect, and she was born with her feet are arched for heels, to wear
Right.
heels all the time. And at the start of the movie, she wakes up and her feet are flat against the floor, and she goes and puts heels on again, and she says, "Oh, if my feet weren't made like or curved like this, I would never wear high heeled shoes." And it's just like a funny little play on what really goes on in the real world.
Yeah.
Of like, women are still doing that. Really good movie. They get to the real world and it's just a hoot. Ryan Gosling is a hoot in it.
Jared Goff.
He's a Jared Goff lookalike. He's a great like background character to Mark. It was a fun movie, definitely. And I could see it being emotional for some people. Like, it was definitely had some sad moments, but it was a lot of fun. And I think if you're somebody that would hate that movie, I would have some questions about like what's really going on. Like, what is your character really like?
So, what was better, Barbie or Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer, but it was tough to rank because like Barbie was like I can tell this Barbie is an adult movie. Like, it's like not, I wouldn't call it a kids movie.
Yeah,
they talk about some pretty adult things in there. And but like Oppenheimer, and you can't, they're just so hard to compare because Oppenheimer is such a dramatic, like drama filled movie, and Barbie is just not that. It's just a fun adventure movie. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna see it.
I think
Like,
you should.
Like,
dude.
I'll watch it at some point, but like, I'm not gonna go to the theater to watch it. Not saying I don't like. I'm not like wanting to watch it, but like,
he's not boycotting the movie.
Yeah, but like, I just like, I don't go to see a lot of movies in the theater, And like, I kind of do for special occasions. For me personally, Barbie movie is not a special occasion.
And I don't think I ever would have saw it in theaters if it wasn't for Adria, my girlfriend.
Exactly.
So I think that's the only reason.
Like, we're probably not taking a boys trip to see Barbie.
No, not like the way we did with Minions.
Yeah, I would rather do it to watch the Johnny Manziel documentary.
Yeah, or
like Minions.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, is that coming out?
Yeah, it's already out. It came out. Terrible. That and Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible both came out, but like Oppenheimer and Barbie are just twice as big as they are. For them, They just picked a terrible time.
All right, that's enough non-sports related talk. Let's finally talk about sports. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions. Tomorrow, the Lions have their first preseason game, Lions versus Giants, but we have some news to talk about before we talk about any training camp stuff. First off, some sad news today. Justin Jackson surprisingly retiring from the NFL after we just brought him back into training camp, re-signed him maybe last week. Like, it was not very long ago. And he retires from the NFL. I have not seen much detail about this Justin Jackson reason for retirement. I don't want to assume, but like, there definitely could be an injury that was in the play here. But it's surprising because he was I think the set in stone third string running back for this Lions team and was pretty solid last year, especially in the kick return game too.
Yeah, and catching the football, he was really solid. He had some big moments catching the football. I hope everything's okay. You know, like, for sure. More than anything is hopefully I hope it's just an injury. In all honesty, I just hope everything's okay with Justin Jackson.
Yeah, and it stinks that we're losing him. But it does open up some opportunity for Muhammad Ibrahim out of Minnesota, undrafted free agent who apparently has been doing well. Craig Reynolds, who was kind of on the bubble, whether or not he was going to make the team or not. I would assume he does now.
Still think it's weird he's on the bubble. He's a beast.
Yeah, but like
that guy's a monster.
He's been this guy like training camp, like third, fourth string running back guy for a few years now. Like, if you have a younger guy, maybe that you think can like Ibrahim, But we did bring in Benny Snell from the Pittsburgh Steelers today as well. So another Steeler realizing, wow, this place blows. Let me get to Detroit, baby.
I'd love to be there.
Yeah, so he joins the training camp there. Have you watched the episode 1 of Hard Knocks either? The Jets Hard Knocks? Me either.
I don't
want to watch it.
I don't have Max, and I don't really care.
I've heard it's the Aaron Rodgers,
he didn't even want it.
Glaze show.
Yeah, I don't need to listen to more.
I don't like. I would love to see like Sauce, and I heard there was a good snippet about like Sauce going up against Garrett Wilson in the first episode. I would like to see that. But I like the second I see Aaron Rodgers talk about like how great he is and stuff, like I'm good.
We had to deal with that for his whole career.
Yeah.
Like now he's finally gone, and we don't have to listen quite as closely
Yeah.
to what he's saying. So I would just rather not listen.
Yeah. But big news in Detroit: Teddy Bridgewater signed to a 1-year, technically $2.5 million contract, but it can get up to $5 million. Only 2.5 guaranteed to be the backup quarterback of this squad. What does this mean, for the Detroit Lions? Bringing in a legit backup, probably the best backup QB that we've ever had, like since we've watched the Lions. It's kind of always just the last pickings, like some random guy. Like Teddy Bridgewater is a legit backup quarterback.
Yeah, that's just it shows what position the Lions are in. The Lions are in win now mode. If Jared Goff goes down, we still have a job to do. Our team is still good enough where we have an opportunity to make the playoffs. And with no Hendon Hooker this year, I think it was just the right idea. If we're going to draft somebody, I want him to come. I want him to not play a down of anything this year until he's like fully ready to come back. We drafted him. That's an investment for the next few years, and we're hopefully one day play. But I think this just shows how in the Lions are. We're not messing around. We're not going to go get the Slim Pickens guy. We want a backup.
Yeah, Hendon Hooker was placed on the physically unable to perform list, and I believe that there's a deadline that the guys that are on that list, if they don't get taken off of it, they're on it for like the whole season, so they can't play for the whole year, which I assume Hendon Hooker will stay on that. I mean, there's no reason for him to take up a roster spot, essentially, especially because he's coming off of the torn ACL. But yeah, like you said, I mean, this shows that we are like we're doing it. Nate Sudfeld, like if Jared Goff went down and Nate Sudfeld has to come in, like we're screwed. Like season's over if Goff goes down. I'm not saying that if Goff goes down now, it's like we're still gonna win the Super Bowl.
Teddy Bridgewater isn't Jared Goff. We're not saying that.
But can Ben Johnson benefit Teddy Bridgewater enough and put the pieces around him and make the right play calls so that we can still, be in games and put up points still? I think for sure. I think that, and with Nate Sudfeld, I don't think that was going to happen. So I think that, and this is more so like if Jared Goff has to miss 2 weeks with a concussion, I'm fine with Teddy. I think we could go 1-1 or 2-0 in those 2 games with Teddy Bridgewater rather than, now if Jared Goff goes out for the season, we're probably screwed no matter what. But with Teddy Bridgewater, I think that this is what makes Lions fans feel a lot safer about this season and shows, hey, they're for real about this thing.
Yeah, I think my confidence in Teddy Bridgewater, and I shouldn't even say in Teddy Bridgewater, goes further than like 2 games. I would say like 5 to 6. I'd be comfortable.
Definitely. Yeah, I was just like making an example, but
I think more of anything that shows my trust in Ben Johnson. I don't think he's gonna have a coordinator who's ever like been able to design an offense around a guy like Ben Johnson might be able to. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater would open up a totally different part of the offense with his wheels that he's got. 2-glove Teddy is a runner. He likes to run. So it might be really actually cool for a couple weeks to see what he does.
Especially rocking the white gloves.
He'd look cold. Like, he'd look fast, dude. You know how fast he would look? Dudes with white gloves and white cleats always look crazy fast on the field.
The only thing that, like, scares me, in quotation marks, about this Teddy Bridgewater signing, Teddy Bridgewater has like played every place he's been at the last so many, even his whole career.
You think it's like a curse?
Like that's kind of like, I'm not like saying it is, but like last year, Miami, he goes there to be the backup. Plays like a lot because of Tua injury. Denver, he wasn't supposed to be the backup when he was there. He wasn't supposed to be the starter. Drew Lock was supposed to be the starter, and Drew Lock kind of just sucked. So that really wasn't like an injury thing. And even in New Orleans. His first year in New Orleans, he didn't play at all. But second year, that was when Drew Brees, like his last year, when he like literally couldn't throw the ball. I think he had a collapsed lung in his last year. Teddy Bridgewater played a lot of that season. So like these situations where he's been the backup, he like plays a lot,
We're treading in some shallow curse water here. Like we are at the start of a curse.
But I shouldn't even bring that up. I mean, that's just bad. That's bad juju.
And you brought it up.
I did, and that's my fault.
It's here now.
Hopefully that doesn't mean anything. But let's talk about Lions Giants tomorrow. I'm really excited for this game to see, specifically to see Jameson Williams play a lot. But I'm excited to see
he gets to play in preseason.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
That's really weird.
Yeah. And Lions Twitter, by the way, was being really weird the day that we signed Teddy because it was like it had gotten leaked to like some certain people and they were tweeting like big Lions news coming today. And then people were like Teddy Bridgewater and everyone was like, no, it's bigger than that. It's J-Mo's suspension is getting cut. Like, just people just saying that for no reason
Just
at
making
all.
up ideas.
And it was all just Teddy Bridgewater the whole time. So it was
That
like,
would have been a bad tease.
I didn't get my hopes up at all because, like, one, that just doesn't happen.
Wait, what site did you say this was on?
Twitter. Sorry.
I don't know Twitter, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. I'm never
unfamiliar.
Calling it that. Never calling that. Yeah,
What?
Check out the X that I just put out. Like, what even?
No,
would
it's still a tweet. You still press tweet.
It's still a tweet.
Yeah.
But it's just on X.
Like the button is still, you press the tweet button.
So, like, you say, go check out this tweet I sent you on X.
Yeah.
Not this tweet on Twitter.
Yeah. It's really wrong.
Let me follow you on X.
Listen,
I'll tweet at you.
I'm totally in the boat with you. Just
Some people that haven't changed.
I was just really confused. I was unfamiliar.
Yeah, I never had that.
I'd never heard of Twitter.
Sorry, you totally interrupted me. I can't remember my thought.
It was something about
something about what I was excited
the people
for.
were fabricating.
But what I was excited for the Lions-Giants game tomorrow, I am most excited to watch Jahmyr Gibbs. Did you see the clip of him killing Bobby Okikri, or I think that's how you say his name, the Giants linebacker? Dirty.
Yeah, they said he's been killing everybody. Like they did like the red zone thing, like when it came out of Amra, and they said the same shit happened with Jahmyr Gibbs. It was like touchdown, 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 because that's who he is. And y'all think he's a running back? Have you been listening to camp? He's a weapon.
He's a weapon. I'm super stoked to watch him play because I think he's going to be high impact immediately. And I'm excited to see kind of who shines from the wide receivers other than Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra, because obviously Jamison's not going to be there for the first 6 games. So is Marvin Jones going to go off? Is Josh Reynolds? Is it going to be Khalif Raymond? I still really like Khalif Raymond.
I like all of them.
Yeah, I do too. Like the core that we have is really nice. Denzel Mims, I'm excited to see
We
what
lost
he can
Josh
do.
Reynolds, right?
He's back. No, he's on the team.
Oh, he's on the team?
Yep.
He's like the GOAT,
And the
actually.
sleeper, the guy, that undrafted guy out of Eastern Michigan, Dylan Drummond, apparently.
Hell yeah.
Has been balling at Lions training camp, and there's talk that he might make the roster as well. Imagine if he makes it like over Denzel Mims. That'd be pretty crazy. But apparently he was going off against it was one of our corners. I think it was Cam Sutton. He beat him on several plays in a row. So Drummond looking like a guy that could be the next great Drummond in Detroit.
Who's that? the next great, maybe the first. Who was the undrafted corner who's been getting some
Starling
big reps?
Thomas the 5th.
Yeah, that guy's been getting some huge reps.
He was taking first team reps a lot during this Giants run too. So
that's crazy. And then
another
you see the
undrafted guy,
Penei Sewell, Kayvon Thibodeau, and guys, I just. And I had this talk with somebody I work with the other day. He was like, "What? You think they're really going to win 11 games?" I was like, "I think it's a really good opportunity
for sure."
And I was like, "What? You make the line, and I'll bet the over." And now he's sitting there, but now he's sitting there going, "I don't know, man. 11.5. They might be able to do it. You might be convincing me." It's like, no, you don't get to switch up now.
Switch up now, exactly. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And I love the offensive line, D line, one-on-ones like that. That actually could be like the best part of joint practice
for sure.
Especially with them, like they couldn't have matched up with a better team in the Giants. You know, you have Penei Sewell versus Kayvon Thibodeau. You have Frank Ragnow versus Dexter Lawrence on the inside. Flip it around. Andrew Thomas, one of the best young left tackles in the NFL for the Giants, with Aiden Hutchinson coming at him. And there was several clips of that. And Thomas was doing a great job against
They have
Hutchinson.
another tackle. I thought they had another
defensive end.
No, offensive tackle.
Oh,
the Giants. I thought they drafted
Evan Neal was.
Yeah.
Evan Neal's their other one, young guy. Yeah, so you have him going up against Hutchinson and Okwara and James Houston. You know, so this has just been a really fun joint practice. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the ears of everybody. C.J. Gardner-Johnson telling Amani Oruwariye that he can't cover bleep. You know, he's talking that crap to him. This has been such a fun. This would have been such a good Hard Knocks, to have this. And Brian Dable and Dan Campbell, a
perfect two coaches duo. Yeah,
the most head coaches ever. You know, and they coach together in Miami too, so they're good friends. So.
Did you know Brian Dable was in Buffalo with Josh Allen?
Yeah,
he
was their OC before he right before he came to the Giants.
And I didn't know that was his big ticket was to the Giants. Was Daniel Jones could be I could make him a monster basically. I can take this raw QB and
he definitely
turn
had a
beast.
huge jump last year. So
it could be incoming. Maybe don't draft him in fantasy. Actually, don't draft that guy.
Is that your sleeper guy?
No, I'm just saying don't. He's quarterback 8 right now on ADP.
Really?
And no way I'm drafting him in front of Geno Smith and Kirk Cousins.
That seems a bit high.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, and he was inconsistent.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a receiver.
Of fantasy, we and Easton have something that we're going to be doing on the podcast today. I'm going to let Easton's computer boot up here for a second. So me and Easton, as I talked about in our last episode, I have joined their 3-man league, their 3-man fantasy football league. And
Dude, you are such an ass.
I'm sorry. I have joined their fantasy football league. We talk about it all the time. It's one of the most competitive fantasy football leagues I've ever seen. I've been an outsider looking in as I'm friends with a lot of people. And I'm
He's got a lot of friends
in the league that, dude, I have like 4 guys in the league that always come to me. Look at this trade. Do I do this trade? And then I know every trade that happens in your guys' league.
I want you to know how that's what I'm most excited about. Because all these dudes for so long, including me, have been coming to you. And now who are we going to go to? Who's our consultant? We don't have one, and it makes it way more fun.
Exactly. And I have all the inside, but I have been added to the league. It's a 10-man PPR league. I have the 8th pick. Easton has the 3rd pick. So today, we're going to be doing a mock draft on Sleeper because they're very fast on Sleeper. And we are going to be drafting from each other's spots so we don't like foil each other's plans or anything. It's completely different spots. This was Easton's
total
idea.
flip-flop. Total opposite.
Yeah. Very fun idea here. Let me invite you to this mock draft really quickly. You're High Tempo Nemo on Sleeper, right?
Yep.
Go add him in if you have a Sleeper account, High Tempo Nemo.
Who else would be High Tempo Nemo?
It's a good point. So yeah, we're going to be drafting from each other's spots. I think this is going to be really fun because I think the 3rd spot is a lot better than the 8th spot. Personally, I think that it's better.
I literally love the 3rd spot so much. I've been having a lot of fun. Like I'm sad about the league where I don't get to mock draft.
Right.
Like I don't think I have an invite from you.
You sure?
I think so.
High Tempo Nemo sent you a DM on Sleeper. I just sent it again.
A DM. Like it'd be in direct messages.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, got it.
Okay, cool.
Got it. Sweet. Perfect.
So go ahead
Bad
and claim
podcasting.
that 8th
We're all
spot.
right.
No, we're good. Sorry for the dead noise. Okay, we are in this mock draft. Let's get it started. We're going to talk you through everything. And if you're watching on YouTube, we're not smart enough to be able to put this up on the screen. So we
didn't like that.
We'll just tell you about it. All right. And Sleeper's a little bit different. The rankings are definitely different than ESPN. So Justin Jefferson goes first and Christian McCaffrey goes second. If this was me on the board here, I've always been a RB over receiver guy. However, in this specific draft, I think undoubtedly if Jamar Chase falls to you at the 3rd pick, he has to be the pick. So I'm going to take Jamar Chase with my first pick.
Interesting. I'm a big running back guy because I'm not as big of a fan of the tooth return. Next, we see Travis Kelce go, Austin Eckler, Bijan Robinson, and Stephon Diggs. So I've got a ton of options here, and I see one guy.
Dude, Kupp and Tyreek falling to 8 is not going to happen.
Like, there's no way Bijan goes 6.
Why did Stephon Diggs go over Kupp and Tyreek? Like, these sleeper mock drafts are crazy.
Yeah, they're a little unrealistic. Like, Bijan is not. If Bijan is going 6th overall, especially in our league, you need to lose. Like, you shouldn't be in the league. You should be kicked out. I don't think he's worth a 1st-round pick yet.
Really?
I'm not that sold on the rookie running back. It just scares me.
Why not?
The fact that I haven't seen it, like on an NFL field behind the line. I think Atlanta's a great situation where they don't have anything, and they've got the great offensive line that Deontay Foreman and Tyler Algier ran great behind last year. Just not sold on the rookie running back over a guy like Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Just never going to take him over those guys.
Oh, I definitely agree.
And Stephon Diggs. So that's where, to me, he's not the 1st rounder. I'm going to go wide receiver here. I'm going to take Tyreek Hill.
Over Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, with his injuries and everything going on right now, it's definitely scary. Then we see just wide receivers fly off the board between Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, and A.J. Brown.
So who are some guys on the board for you here that you're considering?
Definitely Saquon Barkley. I'm definitely thinking running back. And Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't somebody I don't want to reach for. I think that's a reach for Amon-Ra.
Yeah, quite early.
Especially over Nick Chubb and Saquon Barkley, who I both have running back. I think they both have running back 1 upside. I'm a big Nick Chubb guy because the empty backfield, everything. I think he can be great this year.
No more Kareem Hunt.
However, I still think I'm going to rock with Saquon Barkley. I think the offense will be better. I think he's going to still be that monster. And again, we see fully healthy Saquon. He's unstoppable.
I'm not going to lie. I have seen, I've done quite a few mock drafts on Sleeper since I've been added to your league. This situation that has happened here has never happened. Kupp and Tyreek on the board at 8, and then Saquon falling back to me in the second round.
You would love that.
Like why did 6 receivers go in a row there? Like, that's just not going to happen. Like, so looking at on the board for me here, Patrick Mahomes did come off the board, Derrick Henry, Jalen Waddle, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I have Jamar Chase. In a perfect world, I don't think Nick Chubb gets back to you and with this second round pick here. But Nick Chubb is on the board for me here. He's one of the top running backs along with Josh Jacobs, Garrett Wilson. If I really wanted to reach for a wide receiver, I'd go with Olave. I could take the risk and take Garrett Wilson here because, getting that duo of Jamar and Garrett Wilson
could be huge.
Deadly.
Could be huge.
But I think I'm going to go with Nick Chubb here to be my RB1.
I definitely like the balance when you're drafting at the turn to try and keep it balanced. It's just way too hard to predict what's really going to happen.
So Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Jalen Hurts, and Tony Pollard go off the board.
Very similar thing to what happened on the other side of the turn.
The QBs won't go this early in the real draft either. I don't think. Maybe Mahomes, but like Hurts is not going first pick of the third round. That just seems a bit high for an actual fantasy draft.
I'm unsure, man.
Really?
I'm really high on. I think those guys. I think the top 3 are different than the rest.
So here's my question: if you're in this situation and Hurts and Allen are on the board, are you going to take them here?
Oh, yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, I'm definitely considering it. Well, I think you look at your big 3 on a week in, week out basis of Jamar, Nick Chubb, Jalen Hurts, or Josh Allen. That's a scary 3 guys to go against every week. And I've really become comfortable with my end of draft finishes. Like the guys I'm taking at the end of a draft, I'm really getting comfortable with some of those guys I'm seeing. Obviously, it's a mock draft. So who knows what really happened.
And also, this is the most unrealistic mock draft because Garrett Wilson has made his way back to me in this third round when I considered taking him in the second. I think Garrett Wilson is an absolute lock to go in the second round. But I'm going to take him here. I was thinking about not taking him because of how unrealistic it is. But I obviously
why wouldn't you? It's a lot more fun.
So my big 3 right now is Jamar Chase, Nick Chubb, and Garrett Wilson. And just like that, Easton is back on the clock.
Yeah, and this is a situation I would not hope to be in. I've been a guy this year where I want to take one of the onesies, is what I call them, in those top 3 rounds, either tight end or QB. I think there's 5 of those players I can go, and they've all went before me, being Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen. To me, those are all the guys. They all should go in the first 3 rounds. Right. I really think they're that great. I think Jalen Hurts with his rushing ability is just so important. There's a guy here that I just love. I think his upside is through the roof. He had very similar numbers to Garrett Wilson last year, got an upgrade at QB. No, he's not quite the deep ball thrower that Jameis Winston was, but Derek Carr can get a number 1 wide receiver the ball. And I really, really like Chris Olave this year. I think he can be an absolute monster. I think he's gone totally under the radar as the second-year wide receiver jump.
Yeah, I think so, too.
With Garrett Wilson just being the guy, but it's because of the upgrade at QB that he got. And Chris Olave's got a little more questions. But I'm comfortable with Tyreek Hill, Saquon Barkley, and Chris Olave.
Yeah.
Some other guys I have here are Devontae Smith, Breece Hall, Najee Harris, DK, QBs, Joe Burrow, and Lamar, both on the board. But I'm going to stick with Chris Olave.
Another guy that hasn't been making his way back to me with this third round pick here. So this is just this is such a crazy draft. Like
I've noticed that I had a sleeper mock draft today where Travis Kelce went number 1 overall.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's cool.
See,
that's the thing I do like about sleepers because they're always different. Like, they're never the same.
And something crazy might happen in your draft. Like, we're sitting here going, this is crazy. But who's to say
the actual draft is the craziest thing.
Yeah, who's to say something like I could see Jonathan Taylor falling 3 rounds or something ridiculous.
Sure. You could see
in a
Mahomes
real
getting
draft
taken like crazy early because someone wants him that bad. Yeah.
So with my second pick, it comes back to me. I'm definitely looking. Again, I'm not thinking QB here because I don't think maybe Lamar, if you really are a believer that he could be quarterback 1 this year. But I don't get an opportunity.
QBs off the board. Sorry, that's just crazy.
And like Justin Fields, I think he's going to be great this year. Herbo and Trevor Lawrence are guys that I'm eyeing. But I do think it's early in the 4th round. I think there's a lot of really good value here. Running back, and I think I need that with only Saquon Barkley. Breece Hall is a guy that if you're grabbing him, you're stashing him. Najee Harris is that big-time volume guy, and I'm not sold on him.
But not going as high as he was last year, which is nice. You know, he was a first-round pick last year.
Yeah, and I've already got Barkley, and I think I'm going to take somebody with some serious receiving upside. I think I'm going to take somebody where week 6 I could use him. He was a beast last year when they did the same thing, and that's Breece Hall. I'm going to take him with my 4th round pick.
I thought you were going to take Gibbs. You were talking about receiving upside there.
Whoops. Gotta click it.
Oh, you only have 3 seconds on the clock.
Oh, no.
Is he
Oh,
gonna
no.
get the pick off? Oh, he does. Okay, so I have a question for you. So in this mock draft, Travis Kelce was the 4th overall pick. You have the 3rd overall pick. This doesn't really matter for me because I think he's off the board no matter what by pick 8. And honestly, I don't know if I would take him. Have you considered the reality of taking Travis Kelce 3rd overall?
Yeah, I just don't think it works as well because I would rather take a 1Z QB later.
Right.
I love those top guys at their position, and I want a QB later.
Field
And,
Yates
hopefully
gave
the
his
3rd.
case for Travis Kelce to go 1st overall the other day on his fantasy show.
That had to be so interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think there is a case to be made. I mean, positional advantage, it's discussed every year. And every year it feels like we sit here in fantasy and we say, man, Travis Kelce should have been like the 3rd overall pick.
For real, yeah.
Every single year we say
And
that.
he just doesn't.
And we every year we're like, don't think so. Not this year. And we've seen it. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has come out and said, yeah, this year is going to be the same thing. It's the Travis Kelce show. Like, it's going to be his ship, and he's
Totally.
the one, he's captaining it.
So for me on the board here, I have Jamar, Nick Chubb, and Garrett Wilson. I would have taken Jahmyr Gibbs if he got to me here. There's a plethora of RBs on the board that I'm comfortable with being my RB2, being Kenneth Walker III, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, which Joe Mixon's going later this year because of a potential suspension he may have to serve. I really haven't heard much about it. I'm going to take the risk here and hope that one of those 3 guys gets back to me with the next 4 picks. And I'm going to take the best receiver on the board, get my flex early, and go with Calvin Ridley. I love Calvin Ridley here. It's a bit high for being a guy in a new team that hasn't played in a year. I said my time's up, but
It's nothing's going on.
it says RPC to node failed. What does that even mean? What just happened?
RPC to node
It's-
fail.
yeah, I don't know,
Did
like-
it kick you out of the draft?
I think so. Like I just clicked Calvin Ridley, and it just booted me.
What happens if you back out and come back in?
Let me
'Cause it
try
still
that.
should say active.
Are you,
And
like,
right now
are
it's
you in
still
it?
on the 48th pick.
Oh, okay.
Like
Let me go
nothing's
back into
changed. I think I have to click next.
it. Yeah, this is a weird situation. here.
Crazy that Sleeper has screwed us over like this. It gives us a little more
Live.
time to think. I know live.
Yeah, it
of
said
course.
the same thing. It said node to failed.
Oh, this is terrible. What if
Wow.
I click? Oh shoot, and I'm not in control of the draft.
I know I
What do
am.
we do? What do we do?
Oh, this is so tough.
What do we do?
Okay.
What if I should I click?
Okay, there we go. It's working now. It's
Yep.
randomly working. I don't know what happened.
We're here.
I picked Calvin Ridley. I like Calvin Ridley here in the 4th round. I think that it's hard because he's so like he hasn't played in a year. But I think what we've seen in training camp, we know how good he was before. Trevor Lawrence, how good he was with Christian Kirk last year. I think Calvin Ridley can step in and be that guy. And as I said, I hope one of those guys got to me. Only Kenneth Walker was taken here, as TJ Hawkinson, Amari Cooper, and Lamar Jackson were the other 3 taken. So it's picking between Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones for me here. Joe Mixon has been the better fantasy player the last couple years. Aaron Jones, though, has always been consistent, and I think it's tough because Jordan Love is now the new QB. So what does that impact for him? I think that it honestly could help him. I think it could give him even more receiving upside, potentially. So I think I'm going to take Aaron Jones here, just for the fact that Mixon might be in some issues off the field. Who knows? I'm going to go with Aaron Jones, though, to be my RB2.
Yeah, I think he's just like the perfect idea of consistency. He's just so good.
He'll
every
get
year.
you 12 points a week.
And man, I was thinking maybe I could go triple RB here. One of Miles Sanders or Joe Mixon fell to me.
And they did not.
Neither one of them did. We see DeAndre Hopkins and Justin Fields, who was my other. I was thinking that was my other option. I was going to reach for him.
I low-key like
man.
Hopkins in this 5th round. Like, that's kind of been the guy that, like, if he gets back to me in the 5th, because this is actually, let me tell you, this 5th, 6th round here from the 8th spot, least favorite part of the draft for me. Like, I hate this spot.
I can see why.
It's terrible. Like, I have to nail my first 4 picks. I think this is kind of where I'm hoping to go quarterback, tight end. Mm-hmm. In this situation though, I don't know, because
there's not a cute. I'm not taking Herbert right here or Trevor
exactly.
Lawrence.
And Hawkinson didn't make it back here.
Running
so it's
back
like
Pierce, Dobbins, Madison, Kamara. Some of those. I mean, there's a lot of question
McLaurin,
marks on all
Moore,
those dudes.
Judy, London, like this spot sucks
Man,
for value.
Terry McLaurin's been a beast.
He has.
I mean, for just so long now. I mean, last year finishing as the wide receiver 14. That's a good-looking guy. I mean, get him in the 4th round. I'm gonna go with him to be my or 5th round to be my 3rd wide receiver and my flex, giving me Tyreek Hill, Saquon Barkley, Chris Olave, Breece Hall, and now Terry McLaurin. Welcome to the team.
So neither of us have taken QB or tight end yet, and it looks like almost every other squad in this mock draft has.
And it's just such a stretch. And now I'm sitting here like, I'm going to need another running back. I have Breece Hall here. I need somebody to start off the year for me. There's a guy I really, really like here, and I do think every time he steps into the starting role, he's great. I'm going to take Alexander Madison, George Kittle, and Justin Herbert being the 2 big names that I missed out on at the turn. So I'm going to take Madison. I need somebody to start while Breece Hall is not playing.
Right. And I know Dwayne McBride, he was the Vikings 7th round pick, running back. There's been talks about some sort of split backfield, but we have not seen a split backfield in Minnesota
in a long time.
Like, pre-AP, it's been like there's been one guy, he's the dude, and that's it. And Madison never got touches when Cook was playing, maybe 1 or 2.
I think it's going to be, on all honesty, all
I think
so
too. I think
it's
I definitely could see it's the same regime and everything. So, okay, so for me here, I have my starting rotation of wide
QB,
receivers,
no
running
tight
backs.
end.
I have Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, and Calvin Ridley as my wide receivers / flex, and Nick Chubb and Aaron Jones as my running backs. Trevor Lawrence is on the board here, and I definitely don't hate Trevor Lawrence here. Kyle Pitts is on the board here. Maybe this is the year that Kyle Pitts finally takes a leap. However, I am going to maybe reach because this guy could get back to me here in the 7th round, but I want to get him before anyone else. Dallas Goedert went pretty under the radar last year. And as far as tight ends goes, I think he had a really good year. He got injured towards the end of the year, so he finishes as tight end 12. But he was pretty freaking phenomenal and one of the best offenses in the NFL, best teams. So I'm going to reach a little bit and get my tight end in Dallas Goedert here in the 6th round.
I think that's a great pick. I'm a huge Dallas Goedert believer this year.
And 2 guys that I wanted both go. Christian Kirk goes. I was thinking about taking him as a bench guy next. And I was gonna stash Alvin Kamara.
I don't think it's a bad pick this year.
7th round?
He could be running back 6 in the right situation here. And they're coming from camp right now saying that Alvin Kamara is torching everybody. Like, he is just a monster. They've designed the system around him.
The only thing that is tough is it's kind of a loaded backfield with signing Jamal Williams. They have a rookie. I drafted him in Dynasty. God, I literally drafted him in Dynasty. Why can't I think of his name?
I can't think of his name.
Can't think of it. And then you have there was talks about Kareem Hunt joining their team. So it's like I can look at it quick as shit. Kendre Miller, yes. And then they brought in Kareem Hunt for a workout. So that's the only thing about maybe stashing Kamara that sucks. But in the 7th round, I'd be fine with that. I was talking about Trevor Lawrence. He made it back to me here in the 7th round. There's a guy that I love taking in the 7th round that where you're at with the 8th pick that I might reach for, but I won't. I'll get my quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, off the board here. So my starting lineup now is complete with Trevor Lawrence, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, and Calvin Ridley.
So I have not taken. I mean, I love the fact that you got both of your QB and tight end in this. I think they're both really solid moving forward. And if you have 2 really solid options there, and your top 5 rounds were all awesome, I think you're doing a really good job. Here, I'm sitting in the same boat, except I am in round 7 with no tight end, no QB. So I made it 6 rounds in without getting one. And I'm pretty comfortable with who I'm going to get. I think all the QBs that I would like are off the board with Trevor Lawrence and Dak Prescott. So I'm going to go for the one tight end I want here, and I'm buying in. Okay, right now on the board, Darren Waller, Evan Ingram, Pat Freiermuth, David Njoku, Dalton Schultz. And I'm going to throw Dalton Kincaid in there because people are really high on him. And like Chig Okonkwo was still up here.
Sam Laporta.
Way too early for all those guys. So the main 4 guys are Waller, Ingram, Freiermuth, and Njoku. We saw what happened with the New York Giants last year with no receivers. We give Daniel Jones a big target like Darren Waller, who it sounds like he might be rejuvenated in New York.
Wow.
He might be a beast. I mean, everything sounds great out of camp. I'm going to go for him and see if the upside is there. Could finish as high as tight end 2.
Bless you.
Thank you. Next, we see Cam Akers, James Conner, Mike Evans, and Dalvin Cook come off the board.
Tell you what, Mike Evans, he goes quite low this year.
I'm just not sold on the touchdowns.
Right.
I don't know if it's there for him.
Probably not, right?
Chris Godwin is still here. and I'm unsure. I'm really comfortable.
Dalvin, man, I just realized he went. When is he gonna? Will he just?
He just needs to sign with somebody.
Not with the Jets though. Sign with
Anybody.
the Bills or Dolphins, please.
I'm really comfortable with my running back room with Breece Hall, Madison, and Barkley. I'm worried with Olave being a big question mark not a big question mark, but a question mark this year. And Terry McLaurin, I'm going to say, is a pretty big question mark. I want another guy with huge upside. And there's one guy I'm really looking at here. There's two guys I'm actually going to say between Jackson Smith and Jigba and Hollywood Brown. And I'd like Hollywood Brown this year as a wide receiver 1. I didn't get James Conner, who I also think is a good option. If you just take one of those two, and I think one of them will work.
Marlon Mack tore his Achilles in Cardinals training camp the other day, so I don't know who's up next in that backfield, but
and every year we think James Conner is going to fall off. And last year he finished the year with like 15, 21, 20, 12, 15. He was a monster to finish that year with no Kyler Murray. Well, I wonder what it looks like this year, but I'm going to go with Hollywood Brown for the wide receiver upside with my wide receiver room looking a little scary right now, hoping for somebody to boom.
All right, so your lineup is almost complete. No quarterback yet, but I mean, every other team has one, so I don't.
We can end this at like 11 rounds.
We don't have to do
maybe
all
10.
The benches. Yeah, we'll get through your 10th round pick, and then we'll call it there. Or actually, my 10th round pick, and then we'll call it there. So for me, I'm just picking bench guys here, and this is where you kind of, the way I like to go about my bench is take a safe pick, a boom pick, essentially. Take a guy that is going to be like, okay, if I have to play him, I'm fine with playing him. And then the next guy, I'm taking a guy that might suck. I might cut him by week 3, but he might be a stud of the draft if I take him. I'm going to first start off with the safe guy, and it is actually the top guy that's on the board here. I still only have 2 running backs, so I think that I do need to address that third running back spot. Rachaad White is on the board here. I think he's a safe guy on the bench.
I think totally agree.
If you have to start him in the running back slot, if Aaron Jones or Nick Chubb can't make it, I'm comfortable putting Rachaad White in there in this moment.
Yeah, I think if you would have gotten any, right before the pick, Isaiah Pacheco and Javonte Williams both went. I think any of those 3 at this spot, I think are pretty solid
All
picks.
pretty good value here in the 8th round for sure. And then heading into the 9th round, my second to last pick, there's a couple guys that I'd like if you wait on tight end, like Evan Ingram. Obviously, he ended up being a very good tight end last year with the Jags. Finishes as tight end 5. George Pickens is kind of your upside guy here. He's kind of a mix of safe and upside. Like he's gonna get the targets. Is he gonna? How much is everyone else gonna be involved? I don't know. A guy that I kind of like is like Jahan Dotson. I kind of like Jahan Dotson.
I think he could have a big year.
But I'm going for the boom pick here. Give me Kadarius Toney with my 9th round pick. I think that it is an upside pick. He could be a red zone weapon. I know you talked about last week that you're not buying in all the Kadarius Toney stock, but I'm going to go with him here.
Guy is bought in. I am still quarterbackless. We've got a big wide receiver room with 4 guys. And then there's one guy I'm looking at here. I'm not looking at Deshaun Watson here. I don't think. I just can't rely on him. This is one of my last QBs. I need somebody who's going to be safe. And there's nobody that when he was on the field last year was safer than Tua Tagovailoa. He was a monster last season.
He was safe?
Well, when he played.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when he was on the field, he was like 300 yards.
I thought you were being sarcastic at first.
No.
He's not as safe,
No, I totally get it. But like
Tua
plays a full year. He could finish as a top 7, top 8 QB and be really, really good. And I'm going to draft him here because I need one now. But I think everybody else has QB. So low
I think Anthony Richardson, if you're really, because I remember Trey Lance last year was the guy that it was if you want to wait and take a guy with rushing upside, go with him. Anthony Richardson could be that guy, but who knows how much if he's going to play the whole year.
Last pick of the draft, I'm looking at kind of best available, and I'm definitely, if I take Tua this late, in the 11th and 12th round, I'm looking at Anthony Richardson if he's still on the board. That's a total upside pick. Couple guys on the board. Traylon Burks is a good guy. Quentin Johnson is a great guy. There's a lot of good players still on the board.
Davis.
Michael Thomas, B-Rob, Jamal Williams, Zay Flowers still on the board. Rashad Penny, I even like. He could be running back 1 in Philly, which has a split backfield, so it doesn't really matter. And I think I'm going to end up going with another wide receiver. Rookie wide receivers tend to do really good, and I'm going to reach a little bit. I'm going to reach for Zay Flowers. I'm going to reach all the way down for that rookie wide receiver, Zay Flowers. Could be wide receiver 1. Rashad Bateman's still coming off injury, and I think Lamar's back for a huge year. So I could see Zay Flowers being a monster.
Love the Zay Flowers pick here. That's been a guy that I've consistently taken in that spot.
I ending the draft with one rookie wide receiver at least.
You need to leave the draft with a rookie receiver, 100,000%.
There's just too many.
If you don't, you're doing something wrong because history repeats itself. The rookie receivers do great immediately. Not all of them, but maybe you're lucky enough to pick one of them.
And they usually you have to sit on them. You got to wait 8 weeks to even know.
You can't cut them after week 3 and be like, oh, this guy sucks. Like, no, unless you need to cut somebody. Yes. But a guy like Chris Olave last year, for example, he didn't start off hot. He ended up being a very reliable starter week in and week out because Garrett Wilson was cut in a lot of leagues early on.
Yes.
Look where he finished, Okay, so last pick for me here. I don't have a rookie receiver. We were literally just talking about how I need to leave with one.
You've got 4 more rounds, technically.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is only the 10th round. But Quentin Johnson is right there at the top of the list. I like Gabe Davis for some upside here off the bench. B-Rob is I don't really know how much I like that.
Just scroll a little lower and you're going to love it.
I have a guy that I know I'm going to take. Was thinking about Khalil Herbert here. Not going to go with him. I'm going to go with a guy that has major upside. Not a rookie receiver, rookie running back of the Miami Dolphins. Give me Devon A-Chain here, or Devon A-Chain. I'm not really sure how you say his first name yet. But I know it's A-Chain, and that sounds dope. So everything is that he has been dominating in Dolphins training camp. And potentially could be RB1 there. So that's going to be the squad. So for me, this is my lineup. Trevor Lawrence, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Dallas Goedert, Calvin Ridley, with my 3-man bench being Rachaad White, Kadarius Toney, and Devon A-Chain.
My team is at QB, Tua Tagovailoa, running back Saquon, Breece Hall, Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Darren Waller starting at tight end, Terry McLaurin, and a bench of Madison, Hollywood, and Zay Flowers, which I would actually be extremely happy going into my draft.
So
leaving my draft that team.
Being 100% honest, I'm not this isn't me hyping myself up. I think this is hyping you up more. I think my team, the 3rd pick spot is much better than your team.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah. It's not even close.
But that's your spot in the draft, So
absolutely.
I'm not saying I drafted a better team. It's just a better spot to be at.
The guys I wanted, I was either reaching on consistently or weren't coming back to me on that second turn. That's a scary spot to be. And maybe when we do a real draft, it's flip-flop, though.
Yeah.
There's a chance that it totally flip-flops.
Because I like being in the back of the top 10, I like for the first 2 picks. I like being able to get 2 of the top, 12, 2 of the top 14 guys, I do like that. But after that, it's I would rather get 3 of the top 20 24 guys.
Especially this season with how many good fantasy players there are this year.
But then it falls off. It falls off after about 30. There's 30 top dudes, and then it there's levels to
I would go 24, 25.
Yeah, because I'm not really including quarterbacks, I guess, So it's it probably is 25, and then it really cuts off after that. So excited to see how that goes. Where are we at in this podcast?
Only not even an hour in.
But how long?
53.
Okay. So before we get into our NBA list, I rocked this jersey today. We haven't had a chance to talk about this on the podcast. Did we actually? I don't know.
I don't know.
Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren dominated the Team USA scrimmages. Team USA has started their scrimmage play. They played against Puerto Rico the other day. In a scrimmage game, they won by 40. Did you see the clip of Tremont Waters saucing up Mikal Bridges? Yeah, Tremont Waters on Team Puerto Rico. He was just looking. He's just shifty as hell. So he just was giving. He looked really nice against Mikal. But Team USA won big. But Cade Cunningham was asked to play the Luka Doncic role because Team USA plays Slovenia. I think soon. I think they play him tomorrow soon. They play him tomorrow or Saturday. They play Team Slovenia, led by Luka, and the Team Slovenia plays like the Dallas Mavericks.
And they're nasty.
Give Luka the ball and get the hell out of the way, and if he passes it to you, make it.
And they're a lot better at it than the Mavericks. Low key, that team might be able to face off against the Mavericks.
NBA champion Vlatko Cancar is on Team Slovenia.
There's another NBA guy on there too.
I think so.
thought.
I can't remember.
But like those guys have been like made to play with Luka since Luka was like 16.
Yeah.
Like they've started designing this team and like who are the guys? What are they going to have to be able to do? When we talk about lights out shooters, every single one of these dudes is knock down from 3. It's unreal.
Last year in the Eurobasket, I can't remember if they won it or not.
They made a deep run.
They made it to like the finals or something because like that was the Eurobasket actually was really good last year because like all the guys that are playing in the World Cup played in it. You know, like Team Greece with Giannis and Slovenia and
Giannis
France
might not be
is
playing
good.
in Team
He
Greece.
is. He's
Oh, he
playing
is?
this year. Yep. Him and his brothers are playing for Team Greece.
That's awesome.
The only like big one that isn't like Embiid is not playing, I don't think. For Cameroon.
Is Jokic?
Jokic is I don't think Jokic is playing either.
But like
No, yeah, I don't think Jokic is playing.
the fact that the like international has gotten so competitive and so much fun, where we can actually sit down and be like, yeah, the Americans might lose this time. Like this team is just straight up good enough to beat us a lot of the time,
And, like,
it's a lot more fun to be able to watch it this way.
And I think that like it's not like we expect Team USA to go win this thing, but I don't think it's like shocking if like we lose to Team France, you know? Or Team
Canada.
Dude, Team Canada's loaded. They lost to Germany last
You
night.
see Dylan Brooks' stat line?
Yeah, dude.
It was like hilarious.
Dude, Schroeder and the Wagners were giving out that work.
They say Franz in Europe
went off.
is just like Paul George-esque.
We might hear a little bit more about Franz later in this episode. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at like all the teams. I'm pretty sure there's no Jokic on Team Serbia. I don't think he's playing in it.
I don't think he is either.
Respectable. He had a long playoff run. Yeah, he's not playing in it. So, but yeah, Cade Cunningham was asked to play the Luka Doncic role so they could prep for this game against Slovenia, and it backfired for Team USA. I mean, not really, because it's kind of what they wanted. But Cade dominated in these games, really playing at his own pace. Cade play style is somewhat similar to Luka Doncic. Obviously, it's not the exact, but he plays at his own pace. He gets to his spots and knocks down his shots. And that's exactly what he did. He found his guys, especially Jalen Duren. They looked like a powerful duo. And it looks like they're getting a lot of national media hype, like especially from players on the team. And Steve Kerr mentioned it, and Anthony Edwards mentioned that, man, these guys are a problem. Like everybody is.
Yeah, for sure. My favorite quote that came out of it was when Steve Kerr said, yeah, that Luka Doncic kid ain't got shit on Cade Cunningham. That was my favorite quote.
Yeah, that was a good
from
one.
The whole thing.
Yeah, I liked it.
Steve Kerr knows
And he
ball.
totally said it.
Yeah, totally. We would not fabricate that for Pistons biased media.
So super excited. And Cade Cunningham was offered to be on this Team USA team. He declined because he said he wants to focus on being 100% ready for this season with the Pistons because he missed out on most of last season. I think that's kind of that's not being talked about enough by Pistons fans. I mean, we got to appreciate that. As much as I would love to see Cade Cunningham play for Team USA, obviously, because he would be a huge contributor. And I think we will see him. Maybe especially because Olympics are next year. Right?
Well, especially that he plays in the select
Olympics
team.
are next year. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, 24?
The Summer Olympics I thought they were 2026. No.
24?
No, 24. Yeah.
That's actually, where are the Olympics? The Olympics are in USA in 28.
Is it Atlanta in 28?
It's Atlanta or LA.
Yeah.
It might be Atlanta. I don't know.
Atlanta's be a crazy place.
I don't know where they're at in 20.
That's a crazy place to represent America.
What is that supposed
just
to
like the Migos. Okay. I just think about like rap culture and hip hop culture.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
In that area.
2 Chainz, yeah.
2 Chainz.
2 Chainz. But
no, and I appreciate it.
As much as I would love Cade Cunningham to play for Team USA, I think as Pistons fans, we got to be like, he's really like focusing on this season. Like, the leap is coming, people. And speaking of the leap is coming, that takes us right into our next topic. Maybe the most fun list of the offseason. We're done with the position rankings. Thank God.
We're done with the serious
They
list.
suck, dude.
Like, I just want to talk about guys that I think are fun to watch.
Exactly. So today we are doing our top 10 breakout players for next season / like most improved player list.
/ guys that we think are awesome.
/ guys that are just going to be better next year. This is a very subjective list because what does breakout mean? What does get better mean? It's just kind of how we think, you know, what it's going to be like. We're trying to make the next big prediction, you know. Mm-hmm. Who picked Lauri Markkanen last year? Not us. Who picked Julius Randle 2 years ago? Not us.
No, definitely not.
You know,
me.
so we're trying to make that pick, and hopefully it's not like a Ja Morant most improved player type year. Even actually, there's a guy that kind of is like that. That would be cool.
I would totally.
So I told you before the show that I have several guys that I wanted to make this list that didn't. I assume you have the same. So go ahead and show some guys some love.
I just want to show guys, everyone in Houston could get better this year. I mean, I wrote Sengun and Tari Eason just because they're kind of like more under the radar guys for like the casual fan. But you could put Jalen Green on here. You could put a lot of guys on here. Nick Claxton. The reason I didn't put on here is he might be like at the peak of his powers, low key.
Going into
like
contract year
15 and 10 might just kind of be his world that he occupies.
For sure.
Devin Vassell, he kind of already has broken out, but I think he'll become a household name. Kyle Kuzma, Trey Murphy, and Josh Green were all also
Josh
guys
Green's
who
a
didn't
good
make
one.
it.
I didn't think about him.
Josh Green's a fun one. He could be a beast at the 2.
Yeah, I think that who did you just say before Kyle Kuzma? Sorry, I totally
Vassell.
lost it. Yeah, Vassell. I
He's
thought
probably
about
already
putting him, but he
broken out.
kind of did break out. Like he would have been a good guy to have on the list last year. So I wrote down like a crap ton of guys. So here are all the guys that I wrote down that didn't make the list. And I'm not going to put the honorable mentions in the TikTok because there's just too many of them. So Trey Murphy I didn't include. I think that's a lot of people kind of are picking him to break out this year. So I didn't. Also, like he played 30 minutes a night last year with Zion being
Started
hurt
70
the whole year.
games.
Yeah, like is he starting this year? Like they're starting Herb Jones over him. So like is he going to get that kind of role again? If Zion's healthy, obviously that's a big question mark, but like
Trey Murphy was like way better than I realized last year.
Yeah.
Like I want to look at his numbers. It was like, oh, he averaged 15 a game.
15 on like 40% shooting.
Started 75 games.
And
And, I
he's
was like,
lengthy
oh,
as
shit.
hell. Like, but Herb Jones, I think, still gets the task
nod.
over him for the defense.
Maybe not though. When
maybe
you
not.
insert Zion, you might need some floor stretch ability.
But
And Trey
who's-
Murphy's a much better
Like, so you
shooter
think
than Herb Jones.
like hits the bench.
Yeah, and becomes
He
the
could
off the
Wasn't
bench
he second
spark
team all defense this year though. You can't bench a guy like that.
for like the
Murphy is also a good. I mean, it's not like Murphy's some bad defender.
yeah. He's
though.
a
You're
great
right.
defender,
Yeah,
and he
he's-
stretches the floor
Yeah,
better.
You're definitely got a point. I did not include Jalen Duren. I know Jalen Duren is an obvious one. I assume he's on your list. He's not.
No,
really.
no.
You had Beef Stew on your list last
Well,
year.
just because
You had Marvin Bagley
it's the
on your
rookie
list.
thing. I didn't put any rookies on there.
Okay.
So Duran was
like
a
any
rookie.
second year guys.
Well, I put one guy. I made one exception.
I have like 2 second year guys. Actually, yeah, I only have one. But yeah, I didn't include Duren just because I think that's kind of an obvious one as well because he just didn't have as big of a role. But also, we still have Wiseman and Bagley. So like, what's the plan?
Where was I listening the other day where they were like, who are they going to start, Wiseman or Duran? And it was like, oh man, like you ain't
You
been paying
don't tune
attention.
into the Pistons,
You ain't been watching because
Yeah, exactly.
there's no question.
Yeah.
Wiseman doesn't get a shot at the starting role
No.
over him.
Obi Toppin is an obvious one that I didn't include. I have a different pacer that I included that I'm excited to talk about. Marjan Beauchamp of the Milwaukee
fun one.
Bucks. That
Yeah.
was a guy I wanted to put
So
on there.
funny, dude.
Like that's like a role player
Dude,
breakout.
the hype that has been building around Marjan
He dropped
Beauchamp.
80 something in that rec league.
Yeah, I
game.
saw it.
And I was on Marjan Beauchamp before that. Like I think he could be a good role player for the Bucks, but he's taking like a role player breakout, so that doesn't even count. AJ Griffin, I put him because there's this talk about Siakam getting traded to the Hawks now. Like it kind of was being talked, and if he is like the main young piece of that trade, for sure could break out like in Toronto. So that's why I didn't put him on there because like if not, like Sadiq Bey is probably still going to play more than him in Atlanta this year. Ben Simmons was a guy that I wanted to put on this list as a breakout player, as in like I think he could like do better than expected.
Oh, yeah, those are high standards he's got there.
So that's why that was a guy
I would
that
like to
thought
see
about.
4 total points this next year from Ben Simmons, and I would be like, damn.
The guy, I think the top dude I left off, Cam Johnson. I think Cam Johnson's kind of been being like not talked about as much because of his teammate that is being talked about with this list. I think Cam Johnson, he's playing Team USA. I mean, like that's a big experience for guys like him. Isaiah Livers, fun one.
Isn't that the same thing Jeremy Grant did? Switched
Yeah, he
teams,
was
went
on-
and played for Team USA.
He
and
played
then-
for Team USA with the Pistons.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like but was
I think
his
it was
first
like in
year on
between
Team
seasons,
USA.
I think. Right?
I thought it was before he got to Detroit. He started on Team USA.
He might have. I can't remember.
And he took the big jump.
'Cause the
I'm
Olympics was
just trying to
2021.
predict leap here.
It might have been. I think you're right, actually. 3 more guys, sorry. Josh Christopher could break out in Memphis with the Ja Morant. 2 more guys, sorry. With the injury to Ja or the suspension to Ja.
Forgot
And
he's on the Grizzlies.
another weird one. Chris Dunn of the Utah Jazz. I think Chris Dunn could be the starting point guard for the Jazz this year. Kind of a weird thing, but he like his last like 10 games of the year, he like signed a contract very late in the year with Utah. He was really good in those games with Utah as a starting point guard. Who else going to start at point guard for the Jazz? Sexton? He ain't a point guard.
The rookie?
Clarkson?
They just drafted that guy.
Keontae George? He ain't really a point guard.
I thought they drafted another. Didn't they trade up?
Bryce Sensabaugh? He ain't a point guard. So
that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, they're screwed. It's gonna be Chris Dunn.
It's gonna be Chris Dunn. I think Chris Dunn could do good.
Why can't I think of the Ohio State point guard?
Like which one?
Oh
no, Bryce Sensabaugh is Ohio State.
Oh, then that's the guy I was thinking of.
Yeah. He just wasn't a point guard.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's get into this list.
My number 10. I put him on here because it's so obvious for us, but my number 10 is Cade Cunningham. Obviously, me and you know he's gonna break out. And at first I was like, oh no, he's already like past that. He's like past the point in his career where he could be a breakout player. That's to me. Like nobody else is believing what I've been saying.
Yes,
like
dude.
To me, he is past the point of this list. To y'all are still like, oh man, Cade, I don't know, I gotta see it on the floor for dude, shut up. What does him being on the floor have to do with how good he is at basketball?
What?
I'm kidding. That is a lot. But I'm just saying, like, Cade Cunningham is him, and I can't wait for him to show everybody and be the guy that we all know, me and you know he is.
Right.
This next year.
Yeah, me and Colby were literally talking about this right before you showed up tonight. Like, I was saying, like, do I put Cade on the list? Because, like, I know he's going to break out. I know he's going to average 21, 7, and 7 and have a boost in efficiency. But no one else really be thinking that until this Team USA shit, and now people are kind of, like, catching on. So I did include him, and I put him a lot higher.
Gotcha. And I understand that because the guys in front of him are not as good as him.
And that's what me and Easton were also talking about this. Like, the ranking of this list doesn't really matter. It's mainly just 10 guys.
Yeah, facts.
The ranking doesn't really matter at all. It's just like,
who do I want to talk about right now?
Is number one mean he's breaking out the most, or does it mean he's the best player on the list? I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know how I ranked it. My number 10 is Malachi Branham of the San Antonio Spurs. He was one of the 2 second-year players that I put on this list. He averaged 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists last year, and only 23 minutes per game. He was really good in the summer league, and I think with the addition of Victor Wembanyama, Trey Jones is the other guard there, but potentially Malachi Branham could be the future point guard of this team. So I think he has a chance to break out as a second-year player.
With the names you were naming, I can tell you right now, I think these lists are going to be wildly different. And I love that. And I think that's a way
He's
better.
like the only like really low-key guy on my list.
Oh,
Everyone
gotcha.
else is definitely like kind of expected, I would say.
Gotcha. My number 9 is Derek White of the Boston Celtics.
Ooh.
Gets bumped up.
Ooh,
And
I like that pick.
his breakout isn't going to look like a lot of other guys' breakouts will. He is going to be an essential contributor to this Boston Celtics team who might not show up in the box score every night. But I think he has the opportunity to be one of the best defensive guards in the league. Take over a empty, vacant point guard spot that isn't really point guard because like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are there. So you're really just passing it to them and letting them do whatever they want. But you bring the ball up type role. And I love Derek White this next year. This Celtics team, the more I think about it, I think this Celtics team is just unreal.
How have the Celtics not made the finals the last like 3 or 4 years? You know? Like they made it one. I'm saying like how they not made it every year.
Yeah,
you know?
well, facts. I think they're like low key, like they feel like a lock this year to me.
You'd think so, but like, dude, I mean, they make the Eastern Conference Finals every year, and then just like can't
for
make
20 straight years they've done this. Like it's been since 2000.
There was a couple of the Jared Sullinger years, you know, where that.
But then they rebound so quickly to
do.
Eastern Conference
That's
Finals.
what happens when you're 18-time champion.
Facts.
Yeah, Derek White is like he's in that like top 5 role player in the NBA
For
like,
sure.
Maybe top. Like he could be the best role player in the NBA.
For sure.
Definitely. My number 9 is a cop out. I have Denny Avdia / Corey Kispert as my number 9.
That's such a cop out.
I couldn't pick one. I think I want to pick Corey Kispert, but Denny Avdia could break out in every other way.
But yeah, you pick Corey Kispert.
You have Denny?
You just pick him. I think it's a better option for you.
No, I'm doing both. I cheated. Denny Avdia only averaged 9 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 3 assists in 26 minutes per game last year on really poor efficiency. But Denny Avdia brings a lot defensively, and he's just kind of that kind of archetype that could break out if the offensive game is intact there because he is a very good defender. He's lengthy. He's a decent playmaker for his size, decent ball handler. He is going into his 4th season. He hasn't gotten that rookie extension yet. So kind of a big year for him. And Corey Kispert, I think, could just, hit the volume for him. He could jump to 18 points per game this year. He averaged 11 points per game last year on 50-42 from the 50%, 42 from three. It wasn't 90. It was like 80-something from free throw. But in only 28 minutes per game. But, that had to have been on low. I wish I would have wrote down his attempts because those attempts got to go through the roof this year. And Corey Kispert's not going to average much more in the rebound or assists stat. It's just going to be threes
and gravity.
But I think it could be a high amount this year. Like essentially maybe like a Desmond Bane-esque leap this year. Maybe not that high.
Buddy Hield?
But something like, but Buddy Hield kind of always was.
Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't call him a leap. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
But like a guy that just from just a volume standpoint already shoots the ball well. It's not like he's getting better at basketball. He's just shooting it more.
For sure.
So those two are my number 9.
I like Corey Kispert a lot. I didn't even think about him, but that's a lot of fun. My number 8 is Emmanuel Quickley of the New York Knicks. I think he could be thrust into a massive scoring role this next year. We kind of know what RJ Barrett is. We kind of know what we know what Julius Randle is. He's like 25 on inefficient basketball and weird shots and deep twos. Jalen Brunson is this great point guard, and he also scores the ball extremely well. But I think we could see a serious jump in the expectations placed on Quickley. The only time Quickley performed last year was when he was finally put as a starter. Brunson's out this game, or who starts at 2 for them?
Quentin Grimes.
Quentin Grimes is out, and you're going to start at the 2 this game, and he would just ball out. I'm a believer in these Kentucky guards. The speed that they play at, something translates like that to the NBA.
Yeah,
because these Kentucky guards, just all of them play, and I think Quickley is going to be the next in line of that.
Yeah, I like the Quickley pick. I also thought about putting Quentin Grimes on this list, but also once they got Josh Hart, Quentin Grimes did kind of hit the bench because Hart started. So I don't really know. My number 8 is a fun one. This is a guy that a lot of people are out on, but my number 8 is Jalen Suggs of the Orlando Magic. I think Jalen Suggs is ready to prove the haters wrong this year. Suggs had a regression from his rookie year to second year, which you don't see very often. Last year, he averaged 10 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists on very poor efficiency, 23 minutes per game, so got much less minutes last year in a loaded Orlando, not even backcourt, just team of young dudes. And Anthony Black gets added to this team. Markelle Fultz is going to be fully healthy. So where do I see Jalen Suggs getting the minutes? Defensively. I think that the Orlando Magic are kind of the team that everyone's thinking okay, they could make a play-in type leap this year. To do that, you got to win games. To win games, you got to have defensive perimeter players. They do, Franz Wagner, but
defensive-oriented guards.
Jalen Suggs, I watched a highlight reel the other day, and it wasn't even about Suggs. It was Cole Anthony fast break dunks, and literally 70% of the plays were led because of a Jalen Suggs defensive play. And so then I saw that and I was like, I need to see more. So then I went into a loophole or a what do you
rabbit
call
hole.
that? Yeah, rabbit hole of Jalen Suggs defensive highlights. In his first 2 years of
it's the off season, baby.
It's the off season. Jalen Suggs has the potential to be a really, really good all-defensive guard, like a DeJounte Murray type of defensive guard. The offensive game, obviously, is the thing that I'm relying on to take a jump here. But I think that I know Anthony Black is there, but I think that the Magic have not given up in him, and I'm excited to see him take a leap, and I'm rooting for Jalen Suggs, too, because I put him on the list, so obviously I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, I'm out on that take.
That's fair.
Not a believer. But I see the path.
Right.
The path is there, and you definitely bulldoze.
I'm taking a risk. You have to take risks with this list. You can't be boring.
Man, you sound like you're coming at me right now. Because I'm gonna be honest.
You're not being boring.
These next 2 picks, you're gonna think
My
are boring.
top 5 are the most boring picks ever, dude.
My number 7 is Obi Toppin, which sucks because I love Obi Toppin, but I've already talked about him so much about how I think he's going to break out. He's going to break out.
He is, though.
He's going to be a great defensive 4, and he's going to be an incredible lob threat next to Tyrese Halliburton. Miles Turner already stretches the floor. There's room in that paint for somebody to occupy a little bit. And Obi Toppin's a quick cutter who can really, really jump. Oh, man, this Pacers team looks like they're going to be a lot of fun.
And not even just that. He's just going to play a lot more. He just hasn't had a role.
For sure.
Can't play him and Randall together.
Or Mitchell Robinson.
And you're playing with Tom Thibodeau where the starters get 40 minutes a night. It's So he didn't really have a role in New York where he had an opportunity, and now he obviously is going to in Indiana.
He could be an absolute beast this year. Like Aaron Gordon-esque jump from Elby Toppin this year.
So like I said, when we're talking about some of these most improved players, it's guys that go to a new team that have a new role and do better than everyone thought. So my number 7 is a fellow Indiana Pacer, and it's Bruce Brown.
Oh,
I think Bruce Brown has the chance to take that leap. Bruce Brown's offensive game, I feel like, does not get talked about enough.
Well, it wasn't properly showcased in Denver by any means.
Bruce Brown averaged 11.5 points per game last year. Like, that's nothing to scoff over. Averaging double-digit points in the NBA. On pretty good efficiency, 48% from the field, 36 from 3, 28 minutes per game. Also averaged 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists. You and I know what Bruce Brown can do as a point forward, as a playmaker. You know, he played point guard for the last, 30 games of the year, his rookie season with the Pistons, and did a good job. And I was like, is Bruce Brown the franchise point guard? And then obviously he wasn't, but
he did some point guard in Brooklyn.
Yeah, he did. You're right. He did some point guard in Brooklyn. And he's been a very good role player up to this point, you know, with being in Brooklyn and Denver. Now he goes to a situation where, yes, he's still going to be a role player, but he's going to have a lot more freedom in Indiana, a team that has already a lot of guys that do guard duties. So, he's going to fit right in with that kind of crew. There's a world where Bruce Brown could average 16 a game next year, 16, 6, and 5 on good efficiency, and we know what he brings defensively. I think Bruce Brown has the chance to take another a role player leap
into a non-role player,
into oh my god, this guy is could be a good player, you know, maybe a fringe all-star, not
definitely a franchise player.
Yeah,
could definitely grow into a franchise. Hey, we're gonna pay this dude for the next 5 years.
Yeah,
because he contributes that much. He's that valuable.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that.
So
jump
he's my
him.
number 7.
My number 6 is Denny Abdiha. The opportunity has just grown so much for him. This last year for Denny has been bad in the win columns, and it's going to continue being bad in the win columns.
Be worse.
But his minutes column just got way bigger with the departure of Rui Hachimura last season, and now Kristaps Porzingis also leaves. There is so much room to play the 4 on that team. I think Denny Abdiha is going to show that he's hey, I'm here. He's a great defender, kind of similar to that point forward thing. He can do it. He gets the ball and he kind of runs and gallops down the floor and makes plays with it. And I think that could really be put on blast this year.
And I'm happy that we didn't put Poole or or Kuzma on here, because it's those guys are good players. They've broken out. You know,
They're
Poole
beyond.
was the finished second most improved player 2 years ago. We know that those guys are going to take huge leaps next year.
Kuzma's got a ring and showed his value in that ring.
So
and that
Poole.
has grown since that moment. They both been oh yeah, they're way better than they were when they won those rings.
Exactly. My number 6 is Josh Giddey of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Josh Giddey took a great leap from year 1 to year 2. Year 2, he averaged 16.5 points, 8 rebounds per game for Josh Giddey, 6 assists, shooting 48% from the field, 32.5% from 3. That 3-point percentage went up 6% from year 1. Is it unrealistic to think Josh Giddey is a guy that could average a triple-double?
No, hell no. Not with his style.
And that's what I'm saying.
It's almost like he chases it.
Josh Giddey is probably the best rebounding guard in one of the best rebounding guards in the NBA.
I don't know if we can say my average triple. He has the trajectory, but there's only been 2 dudes to ever do it.
You're right.
So maybe
but
maybe
Luka
no.
will do it.
Yeah, facts. So there's gonna be 3.
Did he do it? No, he hasn't. He's been close.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It takes James Harden didn't do it.
Yeah, it's hard to do. Yes, but I think, but also those guys are doing it along with 30 points.
Yeah, he's gonna do it on 15.
Giddey's gonna do it with 18. Yeah. So, but I think Giddey, he could do it next year. He could average not maybe a triple double, but he could average 18, 10, and 8 next year
for sure.
And in that efficiency is gonna continue to go up. Another guy that the basketball reference positions, they got him messed up. They got him at a power forward last year. OKC in general.
Yeah, they're pretty screwy.
Yeah. And he was a small forward his rookie year. We know what Giddey is. Give this guy Chet Holmgren, give OKC another year of development. I think Giddey could be a fringe all-star next year as a third-year player.
Yeah, I hopped on the Giddey train. The first summer league game I ever saw.
You always loved Giddey.
I was this guy can play straight up. It's his vision that's so unreal. He's just got such a basketball mind and outlook. It's so clear when he's on the floor. He understands what's going on.
He's a guy that would come up to the Beal runs and play like
He'd
us.
fit in.
But he'd still dominate, obviously.
Yeah.
But
He'd do it with, like,
he would
dunks.
play the same way.
For sure. He's an awesome guy to watch play. I have his teammate at my number 5 spot, Jalen Williams. J-Dub took a huge leap from the draft to his rookie season.
For sure.
he
He broke out.
in that little stretch, he broke up. And by the way, I'm talking about the real Jalen Williams, not his teammate.
Let's talk about the actual Jalen Williams. Dude, that was so out of pocket.
And then to watch their faces.
They were like,
What?
What did you just say?
Like, he's right here.
Then she goes, no offense, Jalen.
Like,
What?
you expect him not
How
to
do you
take
say
offense?
that and then say no offense after? Like, that was clear offense.
Oh, that was rough. But I think Jalen Williams is kind of he's the role that every NBA team is now realizing that they need. I don't know what his jump looks like necessarily, but I think this OKC team just takes a massive leap, and everybody's going to realize how good they really are. And J-Dub's, I think, going to be one in the forefront of
So
that.
we've only had one guy the same on this list so far.
And it's a guy you doubled up on.
Yeah, it was a guy that I only put on a technicality.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have more. Like, I know.
We're going to have these top 4 the exact same.
You think so?
I don't know.
Well, one of the guys you've already said. I kind of made it obvious already. But okay, my number 5 is Alperen Şengün of the Houston Rockets. The thing I'm most excited for is one of the first things that Ime Udoka said when he got the Houston Rockets head coaching job. It was 2 things. He said, Alperen Şengün is not being used right in Houston. Like, we are going to use him to his best ability.
Music to my ears.
That is awesome to hear. And the second thing was how Kevin Porter Jr. needs to be used more off the ball. Because he was one of the better catch and shoot 3-point shooters last year on extremely low volume.
And he's terrible in the isolation.
Yeah,
In the way that he does.
I mean, kinda.
I mean, like, in the way that he, like, it creates good basketball.
Right, yeah.
Like, the way
totally.
it stagnates the offense.
Totally. But yeah, Şengün last year averaged 15 points per game, 9 rebounds, 4 assists in 29 minutes, 55% from the field. Didn't shoot too many threes, so I'm not writing down his 3-point percentage. But Şengün's a guy that really could leap. I mean, this is a guy that could average 20 points, 10 boards, and 7 assists next year. I don't think it would shock people. The defensive is going to be tough around Şengün, and it's he's a guy that's could you ever build a championship team with him as your defensive big? Because him and Jokic are different. Şengün is a lot slower on his feet, and he's shorter. I mean, Jokic he's bigger. Jokic is a very large guy. Şengün definitely could get there at some point, but just as far as this next season breaking out, very confident that Şengün could jump into potential all-star category next year.
For sure. 20 and 10 is in the future for Şengün. No
so
question
too.
about it. My number 4 is Scotty Barnes. The opportunity is going to be through the roof for him on this Raptors team. I could see us sliding back to I know they picked up Dennis Schroeder, but sliding back to a little more point Scotty role, and I think it's perfect for his style of play. He's not this elite scorer. I think bringing him up and getting him involved that way is a much better way of keeping him active and keeping him locked in on both ends of the floor. Scotty Barnes, just with Fred VanVleet departing, it's just the door is wide open.
He was point Scotty in college at Florida State as a freshman. I mean, that's a tough thing to do.
5, 6, 7 dudes. They were all the same height.
Pretty crazy. I did not include Scotty Barnes in my list. I just figured he won the Rookie of the Year. So that's what
You're you can't break out.
I'm joking, because we all know Cade should have won Rookie of the Year.
Or Mobley.
He's on the list. So yeah. But I actually didn't include Scotty Barnes on here. My number 4 is my only other second-year player on this list. Number 4, Shaedon Sharpe of the Portland Trail Blazers. This is obviously on contention of a Dame Lillard trade happening, which hasn't happened, and so maybe this is a bad take. But Shaedon Sharpe averaged under 10 points per game last year, 3 rebounds and an assist in 22 minutes per game. And we saw what he did the last 30 games of the year post All-Star break when Dame Lillard was shut down. That dude was going crazy. I still don't think personally I've ever watched a guy that has the in-game bounce that he does. And there's been a lot of high flyers in the NBA. But
I haven't watched enough Shaedon Sharpe
watching that guy, just go watch a highlight reel of his dunks from this season. That dude, it is actually crazy how high he jumps, in an instant. Super excited for the leap of him, but he's just a really good offensive player in general. Super raw. He's so young. But had really good efficiency last year, too. 47% from the field, 36% from 3 as a rookie. That is very good. And I think next year you could for sure see a 16 points, 17 points per game from him from a jump up from 9.
For sure.
Top 3.
My number 3, Austin Reeves, AR-15.
Ooh. Dude, we have such different lists.
I know, it's so weird. And I really did think, like, oh, we're going to have the same top 4. Because I thought these were, like, I thought I had boring picks.
What about Reeves?
Austin Reeves averaged 13 points a game last year. There is no reason, and like 3 assists and like a rebound.
Yeah.
Like his stat line was not atrocious. Wasn't great for like what I really think Austin Reeves can be. I don't see any reason why that can't be 18, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, and just take a massive leap in his expectations for what the Lakers are going to expect him to do on a night.
He's third best player on the team.
He's an absolute monster, and I think I would love, and we've been talking about this since LeBron got on the Lakers, but for LeBron to take a back seat during the regular season. And just like
he won't.
I would love to see LeBron average 19 points a game.
No, he can't average
okay, 20. You're right. Average 20.1 points a game. And just let the other guys just eat. Like, let Austin Reeves just eat and see what AD does. But, like, who knows? It's never worked out that way. It's never been able to work out that way.
And I don't think it's gonna.
It won't.
Year 21 for Bron, man. It's really weird to think about.
That's crazy. It's just... It's unreal.
Well, how did this turn into a little Bron thing? Okay. My number 3 is Franz Wagner of the Orlando Magic. I mentioned him earlier. Franz Wagner, it's tough to say he's going to break out because he like kind of broke out from year 1 to year 2. Last year he averaged 18.5 points, 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists. We talked about he was on my top 10 small forwards list, so we've already shown him some love. But I just see Franz Wagner taking that extra step. I have 2 Orlando Magic players on this list. The only team that I have 2 of, not counting the Wizards one. And I just think that Franz, like, I've always loved Franz. Like, even when he was at Michigan, he was the guy that it's like, I enjoy watching this guy play. Like, he really does it all. He is an all-around basketball player. And he's only done that in the NBA to the highest level. I think he is an all-star for sure in his league, a multiple-time all-star, and it could be next season, could be the first year. And I don't think he gets the love that he necessarily should because of the Paolo Banchero. You know, like, everyone just kind of thinks, like, this is Paolo's team. Like, no, I think it's Paolo and Franz's team. Like, I think I don't think you know who the main guy is yet, if I'm being honest. I think Franz has that potential to be. Yeah. So he's my number 3.
I totally agree. Franz has just been unreal since, and I didn't know. I was the guy on draft night where I was like, I don't know how well he'll translate. Like,
and I honestly didn't either. Like, I don't know. I guess I did.
He seemed very college in the way that he played.
Right, yeah.
Similar to Jalen Williams, actually, kind of. But I think the NBA is kind of transitioning a little more into...
Kind of. As long as you're big and can shoot.
And, like, pass the ball and 1 or 2 dribbles. Like, that's what college is a lot of times. But, yeah, I really like that pick. My number 2 is Tyrese Maxey of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Man, our lists are so different.
James Harden, we're still pending on the departure of James Harden. He will be traded or he's not going to play, one of the two. Tyrese Maxey was not asked to do a lot on this 76ers team other than score the basketball. But, man, you get him in a pick and roll a little more often, a little more opportunities to pass, dish. He probably won't get more rebounds, but he can get more steals. I mean, this guy's an electric guard. And I'm really excited to see where his career goes. I like Tyrese Maxey.
Maxey was a guy that I was thinking about putting on here, but I just didn't because, like, didn't he average like 20 last year?
Yeah, he averaged 20 a game.
Which I guess there's another guy on this list that did average 20 last year. But, like, I don't know.
He's definitely on the border.
He's like on the like dizzy breaking out.
But he's
gonna
break out to like maybe an all-star.
He could go like 25. You're right. Yeah, that's a good pick. I definitely should have included Maxey. I'm gonna change my list here because I know who your number 1 is. I think. I don't know.
I mean, I would guess. I think we have the same guy.
So I'm going to switch it up here because I do believe that this guy that I have at 2 could be number 1 and could win the most improved player. And this is the boring pick. And last year, the boring pick for this list was Anthony Edwards and Tyrese Halliburton. Neither of those guys won most improved player. You know, they did both break out.
The system's changing.
They were both all-stars like they did, but...
The system's changing.
My number 2 is Mikal Bridges of the Brooklyn Nets. I'm moving him down to number 2. We all know that he's going to break out next year. He's the odds-on favorite to win most improved player as of right now. And we know what he did in Brooklyn. He was 26 a game on crazy efficiency. He ended up only averaging 20 on the full season last year, but like he could average 25 next year, and he's an all-defensive type player. Like he has all-NBA potential next season, like for sure. So that's an obvious he's going to break out and he should win. I mean, he could win the award. That would be a legit most improved player if he did, you know?
For real. Oh, yeah.
Like, that's not like a Ja Morant or a Cade
He
Cunningham.
switched teams, everything. Like
Yeah.
the team traded him.
Uh-huh.
That's not no team would have ever traded Ja Morant.
Exactly.
Like that's
Totally.
the difference.
Uh-huh.
My number one is Mikal Bridges. Yeah, he's just, averaged 26 points a game when he got to Brooklyn. He's just going to do that all year. And we saw it because it was like, when he scores the ball, it's so easy. It's just like, I'm going to dribble over here and I'm going to shoot it. And then I'm going to dribble over here and shoot it again. And that's just how he gets his buckets. Like, he's just so...
Isn't that how everyone gets their buckets?
He gets it more simply. It's like he walks there.
Okay.
And then just says, I'm going to shoot it, and there's nothing you can do. I love Mikal Bridges. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. His celebration, everything. He should win at Most Improved this next year.
And my number one is Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons. I think that Cade Cunningham has a legit case to win Most Improved Player last year. And I do think it is different than like the Ja Morant Most Improved Player season. He's coming off of a season-ending injury last year where people are doubting him. The Memphis Grizzlies, like in Ja's second year, were a good team already. They made the play-in tournament, and I think they ended up making it. Yeah, they're the 8 seed. They lost to Utah Jazz. That was that year. And then they made the jump from 8 seed to 2 seed, which is, don't get me wrong, a huge jump. The Pistons are going to be making a leap from maybe worst team in the league to play-in team potentially. With Cade Cunningham, like I said, you and I know that he's going to break out, so it's obvious. The rest of the world, especially 2 or 3 weeks ago, does not. They think that he's like, he's got to prove it still. No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
He needs to play.
Yeah.
Like, just as long as he's playing, he's going to prove it to you. Like,
Facts.
we all know Cade has 25, 8 and 8, like that's gonna happen.
It's in his veins.
I don't even think it's like a question. Like, he is going to be an all-star. He's gonna be the best player that you and I have ever watched in a Pistons uniform. Like, that's why it gets me so excited for Cade Cunningham. And so I think next year he could win the Most Improved Player. And what made me really set in stone was James Edwards III said that he thinks Cade can win Most Improved Player, and he gave good reasoning why, and it was kind of the same points. Like he's coming off the injury. It's not like he took a leap from year 1 to year 2.
Mm-hmm.
No. And it's not like he was phenomenal as a rookie like Ja Morant was. Cade was good, but like still was poor efficiency and everything.
Yeah, for sure. And he's still got his doubters.
Yeah,
like, people
for sure.
really do think like Cade has something to prove.
Yeah.
He ain't got nothing to prove.
Nah, not to me.
Not to me.
The Pistons, the rest of the dudes do. Like, can you get on Cade's level?
Yeah,
you know?
can you play like Cade?
So he's my number one. How far deep into this are we?
Hour and a half.
All right, everybody, it's trivia time. You can leave now if you don't like trivia, but I don't know why you wouldn't like trivia because it's so fun.
It's the only time you get to play along with us.
Exactly, but we're gonna dominate, like, because we're so good.
And I always do good.
All right, what do you got for me?
Since 2000, can you name the leaders in scoring points for the Pistons? What a terrible way to word that.
Restart.
I got to think of how to actually properly word it. Can you, since 2000, can you name me the leading scorers in Pistons franchise history?
There you go.
Since
That
2000.
was good. Okay. Okay, so leading scores as far as just most points scored.
Yes, total.
Right.
You got
Top
your
10.
pen on pencil pen?
Yeah. Top 10, I assume?
Yes, top 10.
Okay, since 2000. Wow. Okay, let's freaking do it. Wow, so this could be tough because this is like, when I think of the Pistons since 2000, I don't think of the good ones. I think of when I was a little kid at my grandma's house writing down every dude I knew on the team, and I'm tallying their points during the games. I used to do that.
What a great story.
Yeah.
That's the heartwarming story.
And I would like, because I didn't have a phone, I didn't have a computer, so like I would listen, and George Blah would be like, Austin Day, he's got 9 points now, and I'd be like, shoot, I only have him at 7, like, and I would make sure like the scores matched up and everything.
You were the
so that's what
scorekeeper
I
for the
think
Pistons.
of. Yeah, I was. Only points though. Andre Drummond.
Yeah, Andre Drummond's number 3.
I was like, there's no way he's not on the
I was
list,
just
right? Like,
I was like, where is he? Like, I know I thought the same shit.
oh my god,
Yeah, Andre Drummond's number 3 with
that's hilarious.
8,531 points.
It's a lot.
It's a lot different than yards. It's points, and like you can get a good gauge on points or on yards, but it's tough to do.
So it's tough because like with the good Pistons teams, like some of the guys left earlier than the other guys. So I think Tayshaun Prince is going to be on here.
Tayshaun's number 2.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought because he was here for like the longest out
by
of
far.
everyone.
10,000 points.
And Rip Hamilton.
Rip Hamilton's number 1.
Yeah,
11,000
yeah.
points.
So those were the two guys that like stayed the longest. Chauncey's a tough one, man, because like he really wasn't here for that long. I'll still guess Chauncey though.
Yeah, he's still number 4. He was still a monster. When
And
he
was
here.
the highest scorer.
Yeah,
so,
best player.
You'd assume he'd be on here. Oh, and like and Rashid's not gonna be on here, but Ben is like, I'll guess Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace is number 10.
Oh,
With 4,800
wow.
or 4,334
Okay,
points.
so now I can get into my bag of the bad Pistons teams. It is since 2000. No, Jerry Stackhouse is probably on here.
Jerry Stackhouse is number 6. Yeah, he was Mr. Shot Chucker.
I forgot it was best since 2000. I'm thinking of like because he was that guy right in there.
2000 to 2003. He was
Oh,
traded for Rip Hamilton
Yeah. So and he led the league in scoring one year. He won a scoring title with the Pistons.
on like 35% shooting.
Yeah,
he was terrible.
But he's averaged 30 though.
Yep. Good job.
Oh, so like I really get my Grant Hill timeline mixed up, so I don't think I'm gonna guess him. I'm going to go into my bag a little bit here.
Get deep in it. I'm
Reggie
curious.
Jackson.
Reggie Jackson is number 9.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That is my all-time favorite Piston, and you know that. But I love Reggie Jackson. All-time favorite Piston. Really random.
Cade?
Yeah, I mean, Reggie Jackson's my all-time favorite.
Gotcha.
Cade will be, obviously,
yeah.
but like...
Yeah, for sure.
That just takes me back to like my the fun times.
Yeah, for sure.
And the second
he's
favorite
a
one,
beast.
I know this guy's not on here, but I'm guessing him. Rodney Stuckey.
He's number 5.
Let's go.
Let's go, dude.
Rodney Stuckey was my favorite guy during those times.
Rodney Stuckey,
And
man. What a
score!
scorer.
You know who else is on here? Brandon Knight's on here.
Yeah, he's not.
Oh, he's
Oh,
not.
that is so awkward. Got your hopes up and everything.
Oh, I literally got him mixed up. I said Stuckey wasn't going to be on here. Okay, so I have one strike. How many am I missing?
You're missing number 7 and number 8.
Okay, so like this could be how many points
I'll
number
give-
10 have?
Number 10 is 4,334.
Okay, so let me do very, very quick math.
Yep, very quick.
Blake Griffin, 25 points per game. I'm going to get the... No, I can't get the
You
calculator.
can't get a calculator.
24 points per game. Let's say he played 70 games. That's going to be like...
You're doing a lot of 1,400 points.
20 times 7 is 14 or 140. So like 160 at a zero, 1,600 points maybe. That's one season. He's not going to be on here. Okay. Who was on the Pistons for a while?
I'm not going to give you hints because like they'll just give them away.
But not even like timelines either.
No.
Okay, give me this. Is there any like pre-2007 guys on here left? Okay, that's all I needed to know because I kind of wasn't thinking about that time. Okay, there is. So, Rasheed Wallace, is he on here?
Yeah, he's number 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's
okay,
number 8.
Okay.
He definitely scored a lot
Yeah,
more
he
than Ben
scored a lot.
Wallace,
Yeah,
too.
he definitely did. I just didn't think he would have been here long enough to. Okay, so I'm missing one more.
You're missing number 7. Number 7.
Oh, man, and I'm just like thinking of like draft picks that we've had. Oh, it's Greg Monroe.
It's Greg Monroe.
Yeah,
I was like,
yep.
that's why I couldn't give you the hint. It was
Yeah.
like, it's Greg Monroe.
Yeah, I just
know.
forgot about Greg Monroe.
So I was surprised you didn't guess a couple. I guess I don't know. Can you guess who number 11 is on this list?
Yeah, sure. Give me the time frame, and I'll guess.
Post 2010.
Okay. Like, yes. Like, yeah,
Just
yeah.
he's a lot more recent.
I will go with post 2010. Blake Griffin isn't like up there though.
He's
right?
number 16.
Okay. Number 11. I'll guess like Brandon Jennings. I didn't think so.
Contavious Caldwell Pope.
Oh yeah, dude, that's a good. I mean, he spent.
He played a long
spent
time
4
here.
years here actually.
But
like he scored a good
more
amount.
than Blake.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
More years than Blake. Yeah.
Definitely played more. That's
Yeah.
for sure. That's the trivia.
That was fun.
That's there
that was
since
a good
2000.
list. I like that list. That takes me back, man. I really enjoy that time. Okay. So this is a really random one.
I don't know.
So I don't know if you've ever heard the stat, but LeBron James' career average is 27 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, but he's never gotten that in a game, which is kind of funny.
It's not kind of funny. It's spooky. It's
is-
a little spooky.
It is a little spooky. And that still lives to this day. So can you tell me the 9 players in NBA history that have averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists in a season?
Okay. Okay. I was like, what are you going to ask me? Who has never
done that-
scored their career averages? Like,
That'd be such a stupid list.
I would never be able to guess
So
it.
there are 9 players in history to average LeBron's career average, essentially, in one season, though. Can I have that pen back?
Yeah, I guess. I guess since it's yours.
Yeah, right.
No, you're supposed to write with it, not me. My first guess is going to be Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook is correct. Yes.
Luka Doncic.
Luka is correct.
Nikola Jokic.
Jokic is correct. Only done it once, though. The points he's only gotten one time.
James Harden.
James Harden is correct. You have gotten all but one current player.
Jokic.
You already got him.
Giannis.
Giannis not on here.
Okay, that's okay.
Kind of a funny one. Like, kind of funny you haven't guessed this guy.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just always as funny when I can't guess the one guy.
Well, because, like, there's 9 players total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
And, like, I talked about, like, one guy before.
Oh, you already talked about one. I have no clue what you're talking about, dude. I have no idea.
Okay, just
I'm going to forget about everything
Okay.
you just said to me.
Okay, it's fine.
It means nothing.
Okay, so you're missing one current guy, 4 older guys, and I'll tell you the 4 older guys are not recently retired. That's for sure.
Oh, did Elgin Baylor do it?
No. That's a pretty good guess. That's a pretty good guess.
You know.
Maybe not the assists for Elgin Baylor.
Okay, who the hell is the other current player?
That's like it's.
LeBron?
Yes, LeBron.
Oh, I didn't know he was included on his own list.
That's why I said it's not his own list. It's just like
it's based
I
off
made
of
the
him.
list because of him.
Yeah, I thought that excluded LeBron.
Why didn't you guess him then?
I don't know. I thought I excluded LeBron.
Yes, you got LeBron.
I almost damn near. I would have never guessed LeBron. Like I had no idea he was meant to be on the list.
I was hoping you would forget about him. Okay, so you have one strike right now. 4 players that are no longer playing. All of them are pre-night. One of them played in the 2000s a little. Everybody else is pre-2000s, pre-90s.
I mean, averaging. Oh, Oscar Robertson.
Oscar Robertson was the first to do it, actually.
Oh, gotcha. That kind of. So like, no, there's no way. Wilt and Kareem and Bill Russell never averaged over 5 assists a game. I know that.
And you're looking for 7.
Yeah. Like these dudes had to be able to pass, and the rebounds is the. I got a name. This is a weird one. Is there a weird name on here? No, he didn't average 27. I was going to guess Fat Lever. There's no way that guy averaged 27 points a game.
Yeah.
He definitely probably got 7 assists, 7
And that's
rebounds.
weird that you think of him because there was a list a while back that had Fat Lever on it and you didn't guess him. No, there's 2 like greats on this list, and then there's one like really great, but you just kind of forget about him because he's really, really long time ago.
No, he didn't score that much. Did Bird do it?
Bird did do it, yes.
Man, dude, everything we do, Bird did already.
I know, right?
I saw a clip the other day, somebody calling him the best player ever, and it was like, okay, might be a stretch, but every list we do, he's on
all
it.
these lists. Yeah, you're right. That
Last
is very
3-time
true.
MVP as well.
Yep, and the 50, 40, 90.
Okay, so I'm missing 2 guys right now.
2 guys. You're missing the guy that played into the 2000s, and then you're missing
and I don't really
a really good player.
like the guy that played into the 2000s. I'm really unsure of, and the older guy, it's like, who are these guys?
The older guy was like Oscar Robertson time, like old, like 70s,
like Bob Pettit,
60s,
like
70s,
like Nate Thurmond, like Wes
in that era.
Unseld,
Yes,
like
but this guy scored that pill.
he could score that thing, like
And then there's just like a huge name that you're missing.
I'm unsure right now. I mean, humana. Who was doing it in the 2000s? Who was?
I don't think he did this in the 2000s.
He did it in the 90s, and
he might have done it every single year.
holy shit! Oh my god!
No, but like,
there's one guy
Close.
that's now sticking out. Did Scottie Pippen do it? That's gonna be my guess. That's gonna be my final guess.
no, that's hilarious that you guessed him.
Okay, so it's related. Who? I don't know. Who was it?
You don't want me.
Oh, wait, I thought I was at 3
No, that's
strikes.
only 2. I didn't count Fat Lever.
Oh no, I didn't even think. I thought
No, you only got
I guess Giannis,
Giannis, and that was it.
Elgin Baylor.
Oh, you did guess Elgin Baylor. Yeah, it's 3 strikes.
Who is it?
So the fact that you guessed Scottie Pippen over Michael Jordan is a bit unreal. Michael Jordan was the one of the guys. And then the other guy was John Havlicek.
Scottie Pippen was better than Jordan. That's why I said
Scottie
that.
Pippen, there's no way he averaged 27 points a game.
I thought it was in the year when Jordan wasn't there.
Oh, it could have been.
I thought that was where my thought process.
That's not a bad guess, but like to think of Scottie Pippen and not think, oh,
I didn't
maybe
think he
Jordan.
got 7 assists.
I mean, like
That's
Michael,
a lot,
it's
though.
Michael Jordan, dude.
That's still a lot.
Dude, he's Michael Jordan.
And now I get that.
Yeah.
I just never even realized. I thought he was getting like
that.
5.
But you think Scottie Pippen got 7 assists and not
Yeah.
Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Really?
I thought Scotty was like the
I mean,
point
he probably
forward
got more
role,
assists, but but it's MJ. He'd
No,
be
I
getting
get
that.
that. I
Yeah.
get that.
All right,
That's
everybody.
logical.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Might have one coming for you this weekend. Who knows? If not, we will be back next week. And yeah, bye.
Bye.